Imagine, after all the noise that they made, now the MK party is saying that they are dropping the IEC case.
The MK party claimed that the elections were not free and fair and alleged to have evidence to prove the polls were rigged, but withdrew this bid this week.
We can't do that. No, no, no. Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and would appreciate it if you subscribed to our YouTube channel and shared the video links with other citizens. Only God knows how close the country came to being ungovernable because of the MK party's accusations. If there is evidence like they keep on saying, then they should bring it out.
So the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa is calling on the Electoral Court to decline Umkhonto weSizwe Party's withdrawal of the legal bid to the 29th of May election outcomes. Having that set aside, the Electoral Commission wants the matter to be heard and tested as it believes the allegations were serious and potentially harmful to its integrity.
I like what the IEC is saying. They are not accepting the MK party dropping the case. It is unacceptable. It doesn't make sense. You accuse the IEC of rigging elections. There are too many people who believe your accusations. I don't, but for the sake of unity and for the sake of our people knowing what is true and what is false, we need this case to be kept alive. This is one case that has to continue until it is resolved. You can't accuse people of being corrupt and take them to court only to drop the case. And you're not dropping the case because you feel like you were wrong. No. In fact, you drop the case and continue to say the election was rigged.
Why have you decided to withdraw your application for now to have the 2024 general election set aside? As the MK party, you were quite confident in the strong evidence that you have.
No, I mean, withdrawal does not necessarily mean or give an indication that, we have now thrown the towel. We've not thrown the towel, yeah. There's nothing wrong with what we've done. Legal teams change strategy all the time. You know, when you find that an answering affidavit that has been submitted by the opposing or the respondent, in this case, opens up new channels, which we were looking for and confirms thereof, that your initial submission, is on the right path. Then you change tact and you change strategy. Mm-hmm. It could be that you feel that maybe at that point you need to go to a different court. It could be that based on the evidence that you have, this answering affidavit gives more credence to that. So we're not in any way, going to pull the plug on this. We're going to continue actually more resolute now, because that answering affidavit has confirmed quite a lot of information and based on the evidence that we have. So we're full steam.
This type of nonsense is why South Africa has become a problem when it comes to corruption and crimes in general. Many people have committed crimes, especially fraud, corruption, and money laundering. Alleged cases of this nature include Julius Malema, Jacob Zuma, Floyd Shibambu, and even Cyril Ramaphosa. There is a rotten and disgusting habit of noise regarding alleged criminal activities allegedly committed by these famous and influential people, and yet nothing happens to these people.
My understanding is that your lawyers have written to the IEC's legal team saying they're still collating evidence of vote rigging. As you say, there's more that's come that you want to include in the court case. So when you made the claims of vote rigging, weren't you satisfied with the evidence that you had received thus far? Because surely you were not reckless to make the claims without strong evidence.
No, we have strong evidence. There's no doubt about that. But, when you see that based on the responding or the answering affidavit and the information that you have, the evidence that you have, the discrepancies that have unfolded and then continue to unfold, by the way, because we have a team that continues to investigate this. We have been investigating it ever since the declaration of those results until today, until the day in which we have to actually present that evidence. But here's the reality. We know the evidence that we've submitted. We are in a position where now we believe we need to change the strategy because we don't want our case to be, dismissed on the basis of technicalities.
Okay.
And we could see that, if people are coming with an answering affidavit where they're trying to use technicalities and in actual fact not realizing they're opening up a can of worms, then we leverage that. Nothing wrong with that.
But then even in this current court application that you are withdrawing, you didn't include the evidence. So why can't you take whatever strong evidence you have to court? Because vote rigging, which I'm sure you understand, is quite a serious matter. So any evidence, big or small, that proves the fraud that you claim will actually work in your favor.
MK Party says there was election rigging and the IEC says the MK Party is lying. This needs to be resolved. It must be a televised court case as well. So I say the IEC is right in saying the case must continue. South Africa needs to start having a habit of taking people to court for spreading lies and propaganda. We can't have the habit of lying to the nation and just getting away with it. We need a nation that only speaks about proven facts. And this MK Party issue is a big deal to me.
But look, I'm not going to divulge what the strategy is here. All I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with changing strategy, and upon realizing that the respondent has now given a whole lot more and given more credence and strength to your case, that you can't change that your approach.
But if really they're strengthening your case, then why are you withdrawing? I mean, if in that answering affidavit you are seeing things that actually reveal and strengthen your case, you just need to respond and then continue with the court case.
No, Clement, you continue to miss the point. I am saying, when you get feedback off the back of an answering affidavit that gives you a different, at least a different approach that you can take, what's wrong with taking that approach?
It was Jacob Zuma and Ace Magashule who started talking about election rigging before people even voted.
We are going to win elections. Very confident. There's not going to be any rigging of elections. Our eyes are going to be open because we know. I've been part of the NEDSZAJJ. We know what's going to happen. And all as black parties, we have met and we have agreed that we are not going to allow any elections to be rigged.
Have you rigged elections before while you were still in the ANC?
No. Now that you see what the ANC is saying, it says if ANC is not in power, people are not going to get their social grants.
Maybe we need to change the way to vote. What is this thing of the vote a secret that no one knows? Then it is counted elsewhere. Why aren't the votes of people counted in the full view of the public? I'm sorry, I'm even knocking over things speaking in frustration.
I mean, you either can tell the future or you really knew that the ANC has been rigging elections in the past, which means Jacob Zuma and Ace Magashule knew about election rigging when they were in the ANC and they kept quiet about it because they were leaders within the ANC. That means you failed to report a crime. Is that not a crime in South Africa? Before people even started voting, these two had already started suggesting that there would be election rigging. I mean, a day or two before the elections, the accusations started flying around. Boxes found here, boxes found there. And this continued throughout the entire election. And as far as I know, all the alleged video evidence we saw was presented by MK Party personnel. I mean, every time it was the MK Party people who showed the evidence. I was first shocked by the allegations and really concerned until I saw that only the MK Party were the witnesses of those rigging occurrences.
All right, let me go back to the question I'm asking then. What is the evidence you have that suggests to you that the votes were rigged?
Look, the evidence we have is in the form of the slips, okay, which we've collected from various VDs. And we've got a team that is working on collecting all of that. And we've collated all of that. And we've demonstrated certain discrepancies in terms of the votes that were voted against, in terms of what was voted and what was actually kept in the IEC system. So that's one. The other one is that we've mentioned that we've got voice notes of individuals who were calling each other during that 2-hour period. And we've got an audit report, an IT audit report, and a forensic report to that extent. So
what did the voice notes say?
No, I'm not going to touch on that. That will be presented in court. That's not our place for you and I to talk right now.
But they're not in this thing. Is this evidence in court? I mean, the DA joined the application, the IEC. The reason the DA and the IEC said, we don't think this will be a successful court case is because they said, these people are bringing a case, but they're not bringing evidence to it.
If there is election rigging, then the IEC people responsible need to be fired and legal action must be taken. But as far as we know, Jacob Zuma, it seems like it's all lies. So the MK party was the first to take the election rigging case to court and others joined. ATM with Vuyo Zungula all jumped on the wagon. And now the MK party is dropping the case and the ATM is now left alone with a court case that the MK party does not want to push anymore. This is embarrassing. To fight for a cause that is not yours is an invitation to embarrassment. Most of the people who are being used by Jacob Zuma are simply pawns in a chess game that they hope to eat from. South Africa, we need people that fight for what is right. We have a lot of people who will do anything to join a queue to the gravy train, as long as we become members of parliament. That is the mindset of many people. They are willing to become pawns to push Zuma's narrative as long as they benefit. Even if it burns the country to the ground, they will try by all means to do anything for Jacob Zuma. Reminds me of that criminal who was getting signatures for the MK party. He came out and admitted to fraudulently taking people's signatures for the list that was submitted to the IEC by the MK party. He and the MK party did it.
New political parties are required to prove their support to get onto the ballot. To do that, they need the names, ID numbers, and signatures of thousands of supporters. And MK stands accused of forging at least some of these lists.
That's your ID number?
Yes, and my telephone number.
Is that your signature there?
Yes,
It is.
it is.
After weeks of speculation around his identity, a former MK party official turned whistleblower agreed to talk to us. Our source was even prepared to do an on-camera interview to explain how he had facilitated identity theft to get the MK party onto the ballot paper. By then, he'd already reported himself to the police, claiming this wrongdoing was allegedly instigated by MK leaders. His name is Lennox Ntsodo.
I'm talking about them asking us to go to the database of the city of Cape Town to download job seekers forms.
Lennox Ntsodo is a complex character. He's currently out on bail after being charged with fraud in a case running here at the Blue Downs Magistrates Court. He's accused of illegally selling plots of land in Mfuleni for 100,000 rand each.
And Lennox also has political aspirations.
It's fraud and they clearly should have been disqualified from running. People should be in jail for such behavior. What has happened to that case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because South Africa has become that kind of place, we accuse people of things, we make a big hoo-ha about it for a while, the issues never get ventilated in front of everyone to see. People don't go to jail, they keep abusing the laws and getting away with it. Time after time. It is unacceptable. So kudos to the IEC. Don't let the MK party get away with making accusations that are not tested by the court of law. Let this case continue. We want to know what happened. The IEC says that the MK people were breaking into facilities and filming IEC property. What I want to know is why those locations were easily broken into by the MK party. The IEC has proven itself to be very weak and pathetic if that is their excuse. You have a budget. Why is your budget unable to cater for security needs? I mean, that should be your top priority. Instead of telling us that the MK party people broke into an IEC storage facility without permission, we were supposed to hear the news reporting that 3 suspects wearing MK clothing were arrested trying to force their way into an IEC secured location. Instead, we have MK people entering everywhere and saying IEC is doing this and doing that. That is unacceptable. These occurrences show us that the IEC is incompetent to a degree. That is a fact. We don't need a court to know that. Anyway, to restore the people's faith in them, as an organization, the IEC needs to proceed with this case. We don't want people going to voting stations with doubts in their minds regarding the integrity of the IEC in future, right? Let me know what you think about this entire case in the comments section below, please. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share this video, subscribe and join the channel membership. I'm Katlego, this is Citizen Concerned, and until next time, beware of the comrades.